think my struggle now is trying to sift through the issues I have to deal with and prioritizing them. I think luckily I've had time to emotionally stabilize myself from all the events that have happened in recent times, and I'm thankful for that. But now comes to the point where action needs to be had. And the issue I'm having is placing a start line in this. I think there are a plethora of things that, as a person, I need to address before I can develop. I can start taking more positive step forwards again. But the issue is prioritizing these and trying to determine where to start, how to start. And I think this is one of the really tough things about trying to understand ADHD to a fundamental level when you've discovered it. I'd say late in life. I'm still relatively young, but I think most diagnoses are made at a much younger age than myself, and the more attention I'm paying to it, the more apparent the effect it has on my daily life is becoming. And this makes it so difficult to try and work through something, I think. Because from an emotional standpoint, it's very difficult to try and address situations in your life when there is this kind of overwhelming sense of unknown, sense of there comes days on end where I'm mentally unable to process a thought in any sense, and the frustration that comes with that is the toughest part, because the whole aim on this part of my journey, I guess you could call it, is on reflecting and understanding myself and figuring out what parts of myself need to be worked on. And when there comes days on end like today where I'm unable to even think about anything, there becomes a sense of hopelessness, and I think it's a very overwhelming feeling when you're trying to actively make that change and kind of understand how to develop yourself, and that in itself is being thwarted by you, but you can't understand how or why. so it leaves you lost. And I think recently I've been very lost in how to operate, how to understand how to operate. You know, it's like understanding that you don't actually know yourself at all. I think that's quite a cliche thing that you hear pretty often, but that's where I find myself. I think there is such a majority of myself that I can't even get to grips on, and then there comes days or weeks, you know, it's unpredictable, where I'm not even able to make an inroads on that. I'm not even able to start to try and break that down, because you know, every thought can't develop. You know, it's stopped at the source essentially. And as I was saying, having this kind of overbearing weight put on you at a random time in your life is harder to deal with. I think if this was something I was able to develop with as a child, maybe understanding that my brain works differently and there are certain things that I need to put in place in a routine aspect to make it subconscious, so that I'm able to work with a condition like ADHD instead of trying to battle it, would make it a lot easier. But that's not the position I'm in, so it's not going to be something that I dwell too much on. But you know, I think I'm at that point now where I need to develop. I need to get a grips of how my mind can understand itself, essentially, and how I can then, using that understanding, continue to develop and progress to a point where, you know, I feel like I'm sustainable again. And the issue is that starting point. And I don't like to be someone that dwells on anything, as I actually said like a minute ago. But it's tough when you have this kind of overbearing sensation of the inability to do. And I think that's such an unfathomable thing to people that haven't experienced this, that it sounds almost silly. But that's what I'm currently experiencing. It's like you try and draw a photo. You know, you get a piece of paper and a pencil, you try and draw something, and as soon as you start scribbling, it's like someone snaps the pencil. You know, and then you're just... That's what my mind is experiencing currently, and I don't know why the kind of effects of it are being heightened. You know, it feels like it's getting worse the more I age, for some reason, whether that's, you know, a deeper self-awareness, or somehow it's developing. Then, you know, I could end up as a vegetable. Not a funny joke. I don't know. And, you know, I find myself in these positions where I'm actively trying to understand how I can keep moving forward, and how I can keep applying the mindsets of present living and experiencing the world for what it is, when it's tough to experience, full stop. So that's where I'm at. So, I'd love for there to be a kind of objective direction, but I just can't find one right now. And although I'm still going to continue to live presently and try and experience every moment for just that, I know that recently it has been a lot tougher even to do that, and having this kind of overarching sense of impending doom almost with anything I try, it's tough to work through. So yeah, although I'm still gonna be kind to myself and still treat myself like a friend. There's not a direction for now, and I guess that's okay. And there will always be good that comes from this, but I just need to find it and find out how I can understand myself